it has to be said, guys, it's an absolutely beautiful day out here. It's glorious, it really is. Perfect day to break in the FTX Carnage NT for my girlfriend's father. So I'm going to do a good job of this for him today. This is what I'll be doing and the equipment I'll be using. So my heat gun, you've seen this in previous videos. So I use this just to get the temps up to at least 200 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a good operating temperature for break-in. Make sure you keep the needle settings nice and rich. The stock settings, factory settings are absolutely fine, so that's good. A cross wrench, that's useful if you ever flood the engine and you need to remove the glow plug. This is the glow plug igniter, so that's just to get the engine started. A tuning screwdriver for whenever I need to make adjustments to the tuning needles. And this is my temperature gauge, so I can monitor the temps throughout the braking procedure. And I'm using a nice blend of 20% nitro fuel. This is just to complement the type of fuel that he's going to be using in it. So that's just for consistency's sake. And that's it, guys. Let's get on with it then. I should also say before we get going with the braking, I have actually looked over the car quite thoroughly. I've made sure that all the nuts and bolts have been fastened correctly, especially the engine screws. Any of the key components that are likely to vibrate loose. A good thing to do as well, guys, is to inspect the glow plug just to make sure it's in good order. It's also good to just check if it works, make sure there's a nice glow, as you can see there. Okay, guys, so another thing I like to do, something that I've made into a common practice of mine, is to always apply some 3-in-1 oil to the cylinder, just a few drops before we actually get started. What I tend to do is I apply some, maybe 5 or 6 drops of this 3-in-1 oil into the cylinder head whilst the glow plug is still off. I get my heat gun, I heat it up to 200 degrees and I turn it over a few times without the glow plug in, with the 3-in-1 oil in, just to saturate that area with the oil so it's not completely bone dry before you turn it over for the first time. There you go, 210 degrees Fahrenheit, 99 degrees C. So let's turn over the engine a few times, just nice and gently, with the 3-in-1 oil in it. I'm going to put the glow plug back in. Make sure you put the copper shim back on the glow plug before you put it back in. That's actually a very important thing. There you go. Looks good. Okay, guys, so the next step is to prime the engine. There are a couple of ways to do this. My preferred method, as shown in previous videos, is to remove the back pressure line from the exhaust pipe and blow into it until you see fuel entering the carburetor. But in this case, because it's quite awkward to get to, I'm not going to bother with that. I'm just going to block the exhaust pipe with my finger, and I'm going to pull the pull starter until I see fuel going from the tank to the carb there, so that's what you're looking for, guys. Okay. There we go, I think that's gone in. Okay, so the only thing that's left to do now is heat it up again and get it up to 200 degrees Fahrenheit and pop your glow igniter in and get it started, guys. I will be putting the electronics on just to get the engine started, and then I'll be putting them off again once I've found a consistent idle. Okay, guys? Put the idle up a little bit, guys, I think. Oh, I think the idle's a bit too low. So as you can see, guys, it's a constant battle to keep the temperature up above 200 degrees. Try not to allow it to go above 240 degrees Fahrenheit. Anything above 200 degrees at this stage is perfect. Okay, you want the engine to be rich but still at the right temperature. So guys, make sure to do that. Get your heat guns at the ready, get your temperature guns at the ready, and maintain that engine over 200 degrees. And trust me, you will get a nice running engine as a result of that, okay? Okay guys, so that's the first tank complete. That went extremely quickly. I had to rush back to stop it, to stop the engine before it got to the end of the tank. Ideally, what you want to do is to stop the engine by the flywheel before it runs out of fuel, especially in the braking phase, because the engine, when it runs out of fuel, becomes lean for a moment, which can be damaging to the engine, especially at these early stages. No issues whatsoever to report so far. As you could see from the footage, it was spitting out oil, so that's a good sign. And as long as you keep the temperatures up with the the equipment you have there, then you shouldn't have any problems, guys. Okay, so what you do now is you simply leave it a few minutes, allow the engine to fall back to its ambient temperature for an effective heat cycle, and then you heat the engine back up with your heat gun to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and you start it back up again for the second tank. So we want 3 tanks of idling on the bench here, and then we'll take it out for its 4th tank on the road, and we'll take it from there, guys. Okay guys, so when it comes to these miniature 2-stroke nitro engines, unlike a strimmer engine or even a 5th scale petrol engine, these engines require very little force to get them started. You don't need to be yanking at the pull start. I think you only need to be thinking short, fast pulls, so maybe this much maximum. You don't need to be doing it the full length of the cord, otherwise you do risk snapping the cord. Okay guys, just a tip for all you newbies out there who are thinking of getting a similar car to this. Make sure you don't do that, otherwise these types of mistakes can really be off-putting. Okay guys. So as you can already hear, the engine is starting to bed in now, and it's sounding much smoother. As long as you just follow the proper braking procedure, you have a really nice running engine. So tank 2 now, get to the end of this tank, make sure you maintain those temperatures above 200 degrees Fahrenheit. So just keep an eye on that, guys, and then it's going to be tank 3 after this. as a last step, I'm just going to remove the glow plug again. Just inspect it quickly. Everything looks really good. Cylinder looks really good. Make sure it's bottom dead center, guys. And just pop a few drops of 3-in-1 oil in, just for some added security in storage, just to prevent any type of corrosion. And you'll be absolutely good to go for next time, guys. Well, guys, credit where credit is due. This car was awesome today, I have to say. For a budget RC car, this is probably the most fun I've had with an RC car for a while. I'm being serious. Amazing. It blew me away. My expectations were totally wrong of this car. It was fast, it was agile, it was reliable. The engine was super easy to break in. Probably the easiest nitro engine I've ever had breaking in. It just wouldn't stall. It was amazing, really. Very consistent idle. It responded well to all the tuning adjustments I did. Very easy to drive. Guys, it was lots of fun. I know I was only driving it in a straight line, and this was very much just a break-in process today, so I couldn't really get a proper feel for it. I just felt really good driving this car, and it was a lot of fun. I have to say, I would highly recommend this platform as kind of a budget beginner platform, beginner to intermediate platform. So people who are generally interested in the hobby but don't want to burst the bank, or break the bank, I should say. Anyway, hope you're all keeping well. I can't believe the growth of my channel recently. 110 subscribers now. It's crazy. I'm really thankful to everyone that has subscribed. I'm going to keep on making videos, even in lockdown, and I'm really excited. I've got some really good stuff coming up on the channel, so please stay tuned. And until next time, guys, INNGOT RC Experience out.